Are all people mentally ill?
I have no idea.
Is this the Dr. Ray?
I'm out of work. How do I find a job?
I don't know.
Boy, you hit the nail right on the head there.
Now, why would I say something so dumb?
I don't know.
I don't remember what I said. Help me out.
I listen to you all the time. You're my shot in the arm.
Well, it makes sense from your perspective and your individual brain.
And I guess that's true, but doggone.
Well, are you better than God?
No way.
I think I'm going to have to change this channel. I'm sorry.
Oh, no!
Great stuff, Dr. Ray. Glad I called.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Doing some painting over at Walsh University with a friend. He's a teacher, paints during the summer. He's got 6 kids. So I figure, okay, do some painting with him. Along about 12:30 Eastern time, I figured I got to get going. I got to head over here. Didn't have time to change, so I'm covered with paint. I don't suppose it'll really matter in what I say. But I stopped and I got a couple of hard-boiled eggs. For probably the last 20 years, we were told that the yolk of an egg is pretty close to arsenic in what it'll do to you. And now, egg is a superfood. Follow the science. Good science is always evolving. Well, let me give out the number, then I'll make a few comments here. The number is 877-573-7825. Definitely want to talk to you. This is a call-in program. You are the callers. I am the callee. You are my guests. I get a lot of email from various publicity organizations saying, this person's a wonderful guest. I got wonderful guests. Already got them. Got a lot of them. I'm a psychologist. Going to the office this afternoon. Painted this morning. But if you called in, question about life, situations, people, persons, places, rock, paper, scissors, whatever, we can talk a little bit. I can't do therapy here like I'm going to do this afternoon in the office, but get a few ideas. Something might help you, whether it's about a kid. Now, again, whatever I offer you, you take it and run with it if you wish and see where it goes, or you just say, that's ridiculous. I don't want any part of it. I don't think it makes any sense. Your decision. You're the ones who decide. So the number, 877-573-7825. 877-57 and definitely want to hear from ye. To quote Pink Panther, ye. Back when COVID was hitting, and my spidey senses were up in some of the things that they were saying about masks. And I remember thinking, wait a minute, there's some research coming out that this is at best questionable, especially these cloth masks, especially things that people are concocting to put in front of their faces. And then the level of the lethality of the virus. The lethality of the flu is about 0.1%. So it's 1 in 1,000 people who get the flu. And typically, those are folks that are struggling with other health issues. Well, for the longest time, Dr. Fauci said that the lethality rate of COVID was 2 to 3%. Ooh, now that's scary. All right, and that's the figure they ran with. Well, in his diary, he came out and said, no, it's really closer to 0.2 to 0.3%. In other words, it's a bad flu. That's what it was. And I remember one time talking about herd immunity, which is essentially how viruses run through a population, and the population develops an immunity to the virus, at least enough so that the virus isn't as troublesome or lethal. And I was raising these questions, and I got skewered. And part of the reason I was raising the questions was not because I was getting into something political. It was because I didn't like what it was doing psychologically to people. We were just becoming fearful. We were scared. We were wiping everything down. We didn't want to go near the people we loved. It was horrible, the reaction. The best you could give it was an overreaction. The worst you could give it, there were some deceptions involved. And I remember talking about these, and I remember just simply raising some questions about unintended consequences. That's all. Unintended consequences. Things that you can't see coming. I remember I had a friend, a dear friend, wouldn't come into my house until he got a vaccine. And then one day he got the vaccine. He goes, I'm vaccinated up. And he came in. And then we found out 2 months later the vaccine didn't keep you from getting it or giving it. But I saw so much of that. About a year ago, I was dealing with a guy whose parents still have not left their house. Scared to death. Did I know people who died from COVID? Tragically, I did. Yes, I did. I've also known people who died from a whole lot of other infections, too. So remembering all that, my email was definitely, and this is what you would consider a traditionally religious, probably on the conservative side, audience. And at that time, when I even ventured into this area, the cannons were firing. And then over time, as more and more things came out, and most recently his diary, why would you write this stuff down? His diary coming out, presenting a picture quite opposite of the picture that he was presenting as the number one guy to basically shut down our whole culture. And given that, since then, when I did talk about it 2 or 3 years past the peak, the emails changed. They changed radically. In other words, thank you for speaking up, or thank you for bringing out these questions, or thank you for just looking at this with some reason. And there were those in the beginning who kind of said, you want people to die. What? And then we found out that there were just a whole lot of question marks all over the place on this, and certainly not the draconian moves we made to respond to it. I think there's a lesson here for Christians. When you speak about something that makes reasonable sense through God's eyes, you can expect to get, I don't want to use the word persecuted, that's too strong. Slandered? Critiqued? Second-guessed? Verbally bludgeoned? I know there are those of you listening to me right now who are speaking of God's moral truths. You're getting pounded for it by your kids, by other family members. But remember what our Lord said. When they persecute you because of me, when they utter all kinds of slander against you because of me, rejoice and be glad. He didn't say, try to roll with it, try to ignore it, try to slough it off. He said, rejoice and be glad. Hey, Lord, is it okay with you if I just kind of roll with it, kind of try to slough it off? Try not to let it get to me too much. Okay. Rejoice and be glad. All right, I'll do my best. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. What's that, Eric? What do you want me to do? Okay. I could do that now. He said I had to keep going. He can't explain. It's technological issue. I got to keep going. I can always keep going. That's not a problem. But then he said, no, we can. Okay, so I can go to break now. See, they control me.
Attention, fellow Christians. In honor of our nation's 250th anniversary, Advocates for Faith and Freedom is hosting a dinner and silent auction Thursday, September 10th at St. John's Resort in Plymouth. Join us to defend religious liberty, free speech, and the sanctity of life. For over 20 years, Advocates for Faith and Freedom have provided free legal services to protect constitutional rights. Business owners, support this important cause. Visit AveMariaRadio.net and click on events.
Welcome to Advanced Dentistry Center family. This is Dr. Metti, and our team strives to treat you like family in a loving and compassionate way as we focus on serving you in a Christ-like manner. We do this by emphasizing prevention and general well-being for a lifetime. Our private practice is small, personal, state-of-the-art, and innovative, with the goal to educate and motivate our patients in improving their oral health. It is through a partnership with you that you will achieve the goals for your smile. Advanced Dentistry is serious about the level of care we provide, with attention to details and an exceptional level of care, skill, and judgment. We are thrilled for the opportunity to serve you.
Dr. Matty and the team invite you to visit them at advanceddentistrycenter.com or call them at 248-594-9592. That's 248-594-9592. AdvancedDentistryCenter.com. Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866 Ave Maria or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Very nice to have you with me here on The Doctor Is In. I'm going to give you the number, 877-573-7825. This is a great privilege. By the way, you know, this is a lot easier than painting. Up and down the ladder, cutting in, trimming, rolling. I'm just sitting here with my hard-boiled egg and my Coke Zero. I don't know why Coke Zero is so much better than Diet Coke. Hi, Andrea. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Ray. So 5 years ago, I moved away from the area where my mom was living, and we moved because of my husband's job. And I have a lot of regrets because it was 2 years into her cancer diagnosis, and then I just lost her like 3 weeks ago. And I had always promised that I would be visiting and coming up and, you know, checking on her. And that didn't always pan out throughout the last 5 years. And I feel like I have a lot of like pain from, you know, making those promises. And she had even been sad that I left and moved far away. I mean, it's like an 8-hour drive or like a 2-hour flight. And it just didn't always work out that I was able to come as often as I thought I would. And now she's not here, and I just feel like I can hear like the sadness, you know, knowing that she missed me so much during these last 5 years. And we would talk all the time and said it just isn't enough sometimes. And so I guess I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do you cope with this, like, pain, this sadness that you have, that you could have done more, but you didn't?
You think you committed a sin? You think you committed a sin?
I think it's like the sin of omission. I don't know if I'm being scrupulous, but I do think I omitted from, you know, I made other I had other things going on, and I didn't make the time to go visit Mom while she was here.
Well, if you put that kind of bar on it, I'm probably living pretty much day to day with sins of omission because, I could have probably given more to charity that week and I didn't. Oh, was that a sin of omission? Oh, you know, I could have gone and visited my aunt in the nursing home last night, but I didn't. Is that a sin of omission? Wait a minute. My neighbor lady, she was over there and it looked like she needed some help getting something out of her trunk of her car. And I thought about going over, but then she got it out and I didn't go over when I could have. Is that a sin of omission? Andrea, what it sounds like you're having is regrets. And they're not regrets because you were deliberately neglectful. They're regrets because you allowed the moment to sweep you along. You had other demands in your life. I can't count how many times I would do things differently if I could go back. I can understand you being sad. I understand that, and I've often talked about when people have regrets over a loved one passing, the grieving process is worse because you have regrets. However, 8 hours away, 2 hours by a flight, I could easily see how time with your mom could slip away. You weren't totally neglectful. You just said, I didn't see her as much as perhaps I could have made an effort to. Isn't that more correct?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't say, hey, I'm busy, Ma. So sad. Hey, I know I haven't talked to you for 2 years, and I know you're ill, but hey, I got place to go, people to see. You didn't do that, did you?
No, but I think it feels like I did.
Well, because you're thinking,
honestly,
I could have done more. And the problem with I could have done more in many cases is that we always could have done more. But I don't know what demands you have in your life. I don't know if you're a mother raising kids. I don't know if you work. I don't know, but it sounds like you probably had a life full of demands and where you could. I'm not making excuses for you. I don't know. Maybe you were neglectful of your mom. I doubt it. I don't think you'd feel quite so bad if you were. But at this point, you're looking at it and you have regrets. I don't think you have a sin of omission. You know, maybe you weren't quite as attentive. But here's the other thing. Let's say that your mom would still be alive. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, would you still be struggling with this kind of guilt if your mom was alive? Would you be saying, oh, I feel so neglectful. Oh, I have so many regrets. Would you?
I would probably be trying to figure out a time to get up there and visit with her.
But you wouldn't have the regrets. You'd be making plans.
Yeah.
My point is, you have the regrets because you no longer have the possibility to do anything about it.
Yes.
That's what it's doing to you. You say to yourself, here's what you do. Dear Lord, forgive me if I have not been as attentive as I could have been, which I don't think that's true, but let's just say you say that. Help me in the future to have a better recognition of when I need to make some moves, that I'm getting swept away by the momentary demands of life, and I'm not stopping to do some charitable things that I could do. Just show me, if you will, because, Lord, I will ignore it if you don't. Like me.
Right.
That's what I do. Half the time I look and go, you know what? Like yesterday, I wanted to do something, but my daughter's in. And my other daughter came over, and they're all kind of sitting around the island, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to get that done. And I stopped myself. I said, wait a minute. It is more important to be sitting here in the kitchen talking with my daughters than going and doing what I think I so urgently have to do. And I just didn't do it. I stayed in the kitchen.
Thank you, Dr. Ray.
You're welcome, dear. Not time to beat yourself up anymore. You pray for your mom's soul. And if she's in heaven, you say, hey, Ma, pray for me now.
Yep.
There you go, love. Let's not beat yourself
Thank you.
up. All right. We could all live in regrets, my dear. We got to learn from the regrets and do better next time around. Thank you for calling. I think about that a lot. As I look back and I say, I could have done this different. Could have done that different. I see now. I should have prioritized this. I should have prioritized that. I prioritized the wrong things. I did that. And I guess that's just part of maturing. You more or less realize the lesson that you learned after the fact. You weren't learning it while it was happening. You didn't learn it until afterward. I used to go to breakfast with my mom and dad. On Wednesdays, my son Pete, who's 29 now, was about 8 at that time, so it was about 21 years ago. And Pop was pretty ill at the time. He had heart failure. And we'd go to breakfast. And the ladies from St. Anthony's Parish in Canton, Ohio, home of Mother Angelica, her parish, we'd all go to breakfast on Wednesdays. And that's pretty nice. And there were some weeks when that was the only contact I had with my mom and dad. Now, my mom and dad lived in the same town. Matter of fact, I got in trouble because I was Italian. And I moved more than 2 blocks away from my mother. Yeah, I know I broke some kind of law. And I look back on it and I think, I wish I would have found more time to be with mom and dad. Not that I was a neglectful son. I wasn't. But could have done more. I could have. And I think part of it is you just think they're going to be there. And then, when they're not, you look back and you start reassessing everything in the context of what I could have done. I think that's being a charitable Christian. You learn the lessons not in the past, you learn them for the future. You say, this is what I'm going to do different because of what I didn't do different then. 877-573-7825, 877-5070, cool. Couple of announcements. I want to read this. This is really kind of pretty neat, actually. There it is. There is, through EWTN, Our Lady of the Angels Chapel Triptych. It's enjoying a little piece of Mother Angelica's EWTN in your own home. It's a triptych. It's designed exclusively for the EWTN Religious Catalog. Beautiful picture of the sanctuary of the chapel in Irondale, Alabama. It's printed in high gloss on thick particle board with 2 double hinges. It's a beautiful triptych. Opens into the shape of the chapel. Whoa. Available now at EWTNRC. That's Religious Catalog. EWTNRC.com. Free shipping. So it's really kind of neat. So that's available. And it's a pretty neat thing. Also available, starting as of, I believe it's September 21, I will be offering a 7-week parenting course. And we're going to get into the real details and the nitty-gritty of parenting, helping you stand strong. And if you're a grandparent, sign up too, because you can learn some stuff about all this in terms of standing against the culture not on your side, standing strong against relatives who critique you and disagree with you because you're trying to raise your kids to seek God, and your own discipline. For heaven's sakes, there's so many of you are great parents, but you struggle with discipline. And you might think, yeah, it's okay. I think I got my hand on it. Well, I'm telling you what, I'm going to give you, if you'll work with me, people, I'm going to give you some ideas on discipline I think that can really, really cut down on the amount of discipline you have to do. So here's where you go. You go to grnonline.com / ooh, I always get nervous saying that, Academy. And there's other programs there too. Just push the button on my face or whatever it is you got to do. Every time somebody does that, it's like, ow. It's kind of like one of those witch doctor kind of things, just feel it. Ow. So you can do that in that 7-week course, and it's on Monday nights for 7 weeks, starting, I think, September 21. Be done before, God willing, before Thanksgiving, before the fun, active season sets in. All right. Break here, and then we'll get all back to your calls. This is Dr. Ray. Feel like doing the boogaloo or the frog or remember the jerk? I used to dance at weddings, and they'd all go out there and they'd dance. My wife said to me, Ray, you look like a frog in a blender when you dance. Let's go to Ann from Buffalo, New York. She's got some encouragement. Hi, Ann.
Hey, how are you? Okay.
I'm doing good, honey. Thank you.
I wanted to say that I'm really
Uh-oh, Annie, your phone is...
you get Sam.
Ann, hold on, honey. You're breaking up all over the place. Are you still there?
I'm driving me.
Yeah, we can't. Can you call back, please? Because you're just so herky jerky, and you're even more herky jerky than I am in my answer. So please call back. Let's go to Laura from Austin, Texas, and that looks like a familiar question, Laura.
Hi, Dr. Ray. Yeah, I talked to you the other day, but I was the last caller, and I kind of got cut short with the most vital part of my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
We left off with you saying that you felt like it was not age appropriate for a 3.5-year-old to finally be told who her real dad is, who is my son. We've kept in close contact with this little girl. She's been a very integral part of my life since she was born. And my son has been involved with her, in and out as the actual mother would allow, because she got involved with another man and had another baby, and then that didn't work out. And so she's out there dating again. And so, but the second young man, during that period of time, she moved my granddaughter in with this young man and the new baby, and that's who she thinks her dad is. And so they're a wonderful family. His mother and his dad, and they have taken care of these little girls as though they were their own, and we're fortunate for that. So my question would be, at some point, she's got our name on her birth certificate. She was asking my son questions like, who are you, and who's your mom, and who's your dad, as a 3-year-old. And so it kind of put a little alarm in me to maybe consider, talking to you. And I think she is a little bit young for this, but are we just going to let this unfold on its own organically?
Well, who does she think your son is, Laura?
She doesn't know. She knows that he's my son, but she's a little confused. You could see the little furrowed brow when she was asking the question. And
why does she think she visits you? What are you in her life?
I am her Grandma Lolly, and my husband is Grandpa Pop, and that's what she thinks.
So she thinks that you are the mom and dad of the guy who's raising her.
Well, he's not really raising her. He's my son, and he's been estranged from her due to the birth mother. Because
wait. Okay, I'm confused here. Hold on.
I know, it's confusing.
The guy that is raising her, not your son.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's who she thinks is your son. You're his mom and dad.
That's who she thinks is her dad. And
that would make you her grandparents because he would be your son.
Well, but that's not the case.
Well, I know it's not the case, but in her mind, what is the case?
Oh, yeah. I believe that she thinks that his mom and dad are also her grandparents. And then there's young lady's mom, who's the grandmom. There's a bunch of grandmoms.
Can't tell the players without a scorecard here.
I'm telling you need a,
So your son does not see her?
Yes, he does. He sees her. Every time I go and get her and bring her to the house, that's when he has time with her.
And she just thinks he's some guy.
Order that yes, that's correct. She's confused. You can tell that when she was asking she asked him, who are you? And what is your name? And who's your mom?
Okay.
And
at some point,
yeah.
You can tell her and you sit down with your son. You say, I am your daddy, although I don't live with your mommy. Another man lives with your mommy, and he is helping to raise you, but I'm your daddy. Now, she doesn't know exactly how that works because she doesn't understand the biology yet.
Right.
But if you can probably comfort her at least in her confusion, by saying, I'm your daddy. And she's going to have questions. If she's 7 or 8 years old at some point, she's going to have questions. She's going to say, well, why don't you live with us? Well,
right.
because your mommy and I couldn't live together because and however he wants to explain it, we didn't get along. But I am your daddy. I was there when you were born. Explain it that way. I was there when you were born. Okay. But who? Well, then who? Now here's here's another complication. Is the mother of your little granddaughter going to get real upset if your son tells her this?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay,
yeah.
So she's going to get mad. How dare you make her think that the guy I'm living with is not her dad, right?
Right, correct.
Well, that may be the fallout you're going to have to take.
Yeah, and she's not even living with that guy anymore. She's off now dating someone else. And
oh, geez.
It's a mess. And he lives at home with his actual mother and dad, who...
Then I would at some point here in the near future, when she asks a few more questions, I would sit her down at a little kid level and explain, yes, I am your daddy, although I don't live with your mommy because we couldn't get along well enough to have a family. So now I'm here, and this is your grandma and grandpa, and I will be here for you. And that poor little thing's going to watch her mom bounce from guy to guy to guy to guy.
She is.
And maybe at some point, and I've seen this happen a lot here, Laura, at some point, your son may get custody, because if this woman is bouncing every which way but loose, they tend to be unreliable and irresponsible as parents, and that relationship with the kid deteriorates. The kid says, "I want to go live with my dad."
Yeah.
All
so
right,
it's better sooner than later to tell her.
Yeah, I think
so
it's starting.
Accept it more easily.
Yes, it's starting to get close. You guys have to make that decision. But it's interesting that birth mom absolutely does not want your son to tell her, "I'm your dad," which is interesting. I don't know. I don't know what her motive is. What's her motive? The guy that was raising her's not even with her anymore.
It's really an unusual situation.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Definitely sounds like it. Jeez.
Yeah.
All righty, my dear. I'm glad to give you a little more time on that.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay.
You're welcome. 877-573-7825. Still got time to take some calls. We'll take some calls after this break. I'm looking for the music. There it is. You don't look for the music, you hear it. I'm Dr. Ray, and I appreciate you being with me. With you, and I think Ann has called us back, and I hope she got a good phone. Ann, you got a good phone?
Yes.
They always sound so good now.
Good. I just wanted to say that it's very difficult when you're taking care of your parents and being far away. I was one of the people in my family that, being the nurse in the family, you just are expected to do everything. And I just wanted to encourage people, before they have regret, to try to pitch in, get gift certificates, take somebody out for a meal, just relieve that caregiver so they don't lose their mind. And the last thing that I wanted to say was, I have very many siblings, and nobody would really step up to help except my sister. And one brother who he expected me to pay for everything. And even though my parents had money, he would not allow me to take money out to reimburse myself, and it got to be a huge mess. And in the end, I did, but it just caused such havoc. So try to help, be helpful, and just try to be there and do what you can, even if it's something small or a phone call or something little. It just helps people.
Why do you think, you having experienced this firsthand, why do you think that it's so common that as long as someone like Ann is doing it, we can just sort of retreat into the background?
People just get busy with their lives or they don't realize. And then in the end, my one brother demanded that my mother be at his place. And then he realized what was involved. And then he was complaining I wasn't helping enough, but he wouldn't allow me to see my mother either. And it was just it's so tearful in the end, you know?
Is there ill will lingering after all that?
My one brother, yes.
Toward you?
Toward me, because he told everybody I was stealing money from the family, and I wasn't.
Ooh. Did the family believe him?
I think so, because they give me the cold shoulder, a lot of them. Not immediate, not siblings, but I've lost 3 siblings since.
Jeez.
And my sister is alive. Yeah, my sister's alive, and she knows the drill. And she was there so much to help, and she realized it was happening.
You had 3 siblings who believed that you were somehow squirreling money away from your mother.
I think so. My brother, he made this presentation to the extended family that I was just an awful person.
Did that surprise you, or was there enough history with your brother that you think, okay, this is just more of the same?
Well, my brother and we had some issues. He was very jealous because my dad played favorites, unfortunately, and I encourage people not to do that. And I even talked to my dad, I said, you have more children than me. Why don't you just try to dole out your attention and do what you can to be a nice person? My mother was wonderful, but he was very difficult.
So it
and
sounds
then
like
at the end of his life, he had a total personality change, and then my mother had more dementia.
Well, it sounds like this is kind of the last family episode of a long-standing reiterating friction between some family members.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty, my dear. I'm sorry to hear that. But your advice is wonderful, and I hear it repeatedly from people who take care of an elderly parent who's failing physically or cognitively. We had on the TV show once a couple of sisters from the Congregation for the Divine Spirit here in town, and they ran a nursing home facility and assisted living for folks with a very traditionally Catholic environment. Wonderful, wonderful environment. Had them on the TV show, and one of the things they said was that typically one offspring takes on the bulk of the care, and more often than not, that one offspring is the eldest daughter. Are you the eldest daughter?
I am.
Mm-hmm. Well, know this. You did what was right and good. You took care of your mom, and however it was misunderstood or persecuted, you can... Oh, isn't that interesting? Put the phone on. There we go. You did what was good and right, and you can be at peace with that, Ann. Thank you, dear, for your call. You're welcome, honey. This is Dr. Ray. Talk to you in a minute.
My dad, sharp as a tack, but getting him out for a dentist trip got harder every year. When he moved to the senior residence where he lives now, Dr. Mansour's portable dental service was a godsend. Dr. Mansour comes to wherever the homebound patient may be, whether in a nursing facility or the comfort of home. All the services you'd expect in a dentist office brought straight to the patient's door. Call 586-873-5567. That's 586-873-5567 or portabledentalservices.com.
We look out on mountain landscapes and long to be somehow part of them. We look at a painting or read a book, and we are drawn into it. It moves us, even changes us. We look in the mirror in the morning, wondering what others will think of us, how they will respond to us. We text, we TikTok, we Facebook, we email, we fall in love. We think that for the love not to be reciprocated is the end of the world. We live to be significant for an other or many others. Loneliness is the greatest burden we carry. No wonder, then, that until 1890, the significant conversations of history make no mention of the thing called the right to privacy. No wonder, then, that wherever the term is used, the shadow of death is in the background. Because man was made to belong, privacy destroys who and what he is. If we understand a right as that which is necessary for the fulfillment of human nature, we must conclude this: the right to privacy does not exist. GuadalupeWorkers.org.
Join Guest House for their 6th annual Run Over Addiction 5K and the 1 Mile Fun Run Saturday, August 1st at the Scripps Mansion in Lake Orion. Virtual 5K runners can also join from anywhere in the world. Your participation helps ensure that the ordained and consecrated, including those in formation, can access care for addictions and other behavioral health conditions. To run or to sponsor, click the Events tab at guesthouse.org today.
Dr. Ray, were you raised as an only child? Got that question? I was, and that really bothered my sisters and my brother. It really, really did. So we had Joan there. The conflict was going on between her 40-year-old daughter and 90-year-old mother. Says her daughter. Oh, is Joan here with us? Okay. Hi, Joan.
Hi.
You hung up on me and then you came back, you know?
I'm sorry about that. I was in my car. So, no, I have a 40-year-old daughter with a PhD in biomedical research who is married to a guy without a job. Then she has canceled me as of about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's been a very painful situation for me in the last couple of years. I raised her as a single mother. In the meantime, she is talking to my 97-year-old mother, basically kind of, but not behind my back, but she's been confiding in her. And
confiding about you?
Yes, confiding about me, and I don't really know, all the things that are going on, but it feels like it's kind of them against me. And I'm very devout in my faith, and my mother is too, but that's an issue with my daughter. So about 6 weeks ago, my niece was coming in town. My mother told me she did not want me to come and visit with my niece with her. She wanted to see her by herself because she just had recently seen my daughter by herself. And when I called to talk to her the following week to find out how it went, apparently my whole family got together with my niece without me. And so this whole thing has just been the most painful thing ever. And I'm just wondering, how do I handle my mother at this age? Like, I just don't know how to handle her because it's like,
Is this new that she's turned on you?
No, this is the situation with my mother new?
Yeah.
No. But I mean, this particular situation is new from the standpoint that, my mother is now lying to me about things behind my back. And I mean, I'm the one that's there with her all the time, taking care of her and visiting her and, being with her for 3 hours. And I do have a sister and brother as well, but I'm really there, the majority of the time. And so I've taken a step back, to kind of let her call me after that situation because I was so hurt by it. But I am not, I'm not getting any response from her whatsoever. And I just don't know. Do I just let her go? It's like
at age 97, Your mother is still living independently, and she is, from what you can tell, cognitively clear?
Yes, she's sharp as a tack. She is maybe losing a little bit of her memory recently, but no, I mean she's 97. She lives in assisted living now, and that's been part of the problem too, is that she's not happy in the assisted living situation, and so she might be blaming that on me too. But
well, there you go. I was going to ask that, and I was going to ask if you think your daughter has kind of told her you were the one that was the main push in getting her into assisted living. Do you think that's possible?
Well, my daughter is in Michigan, so I don't think that she probably told her that, but I do think my mother thinks that. So I kind of think my mother is using my daughter kind of against me because of the situation of her being in independent living, and I feel like I feel like I'm caught in this horrific.
What do you do when people act wrong, Joan? That's your question.
I don't know.
What do you? Well,
I don't know.
See, the problem is we always think there's a solution.
Right.
Maybe there's no solution.
Right.
Your daughter, we don't know, but you think that your daughter is fanning the flames with your mother in a way to get back at you because she's decided, for whatever the reason, you're not worthy of being in her life. At age 38, she just decided she's had enough of you. So she said, get out of my life. But she continues to somehow have contacts, probably over the phone, with your mother. And who knows what she's telling your mother. And as you say, you've never had the most smooth relationship with your mother anyway. So it isn't exactly something where your mother's going to say, I have a hard time believing that about Joan. I just don't believe it. She's always been so good to me. Now, if you say to yourself, but I always have been good to her. I mean, I go over there, I check on her, I'm doing all this stuff. But you committed the ultimate sin. You stopped doing that, and somehow you orchestrated putting her in assisted living, and she may decide, I'll never forgive you for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It does, but then how do I, in the meantime, do I stay away from her? Well,
just go visit her periodically and see what kind of reception you get. Okay. If it's clear that she is not wanting to see you, then you take that clue and you space your visits fewer and farther between. And when you
how do I address the situation where? She's lied to me, and my mother has been lying to me.
About what?
Like she lied to me that she wanted to see my niece by herself at her assisted living location, and the whole family went over to my brother's house behind my back. And,
well, you could ask her. You could say, "Hey, Ma, I don't understand something. You told me you wanted to see our niece by yourself, but then." Everybody. And I know, what she's going to say? I'm going to predict this here, Joan. Well, plans changed. I thought for sure that's what I wanted to do. But then your brother said that we should all just meet over his house. And they were going to do that. So if I was going to get to see her, I'd have to. She'll give you a reason like that. You know that.
Right.
She won't say, yeah, I know. I lied to you. Yeah. I just figured I didn't want to see. She won't. I doubt highly that she'll do that. Do you think she will?
Yeah, I don't think she'll probably even answer me, to be honest with
okay,
you.
There you go. So the bottom line is sad. You visit her, and you probably expect if she lives longer, she'll probably have some cognitive slippage, likely. And that makes it even tougher to figure out what's going on in her head. So, visit her as you see best, and don't overstay your welcome. If it's clear she don't want to talk to you, if it's clear she's ignoring you, you say, "Well, Ma, I just wanted to check up on you. Hope you're doing okay. I'll see you again sometime," and you leave.
Okay.
You can't control when somebody doesn't want to have you around. You just can't.
Right.
And especially if they won't solve the problem with you.
Well, and I don't think it's that she doesn't want to have me around. I think she just wants me to do it. It's a long story. But anyway, all right. That's okay. That answers my question, I think. So.
For the moment, anyway. You'll have to kind of see how it unfolds as you visit to see what comes out or what kind of reception you get. And I think that would be pretty big in terms of you deciding how frequent your visits are. Thank you, Joan.
Well, and that's really, I think my big thing is I'm not really sure how frequent they should be.
Well, you're going to find that out. You're going to find that out by her reception of you.
Okay.
All righty, dear. Talk to you.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I got 30 seconds. Go to the questatlanta.com to sign up to be in the TV show Living Right with Dr. Ray. August 18th and 19th. 2 shows each night. Holy Spirit Catholic Church. We'd love to have you in the audience. If it's something you want to do, we'd love to have you. Audience is a crucial part of the show. This is Dr. Ray. Thank you so much for being with me. Walk with God.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit dra.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.